5 minutes, and they're trying to get the track back into shape here for Moto number 2.
Well, there's a lot of deep stuff in the first corner, and when that gets all soaked, all those riders come charging in there 60 miles an hour. It's pretty tough. So they're just trying to skim that off, keep the first turn safe, and that's really going to drastically change the racetrack.
Well, Emig, of course, was late getting his bike for the first moto. They were making some tire changes, some tire choices, and with this rain, that makes it even more important to get the right tire, doesn't it?
Well, I can guarantee you there's no question in anybody's mind what the track's going to be like. You can see right there they're trying to do everything they can, at least put some dry dirt in their starting rut so they can at least get off the gate good. But once they get over the gate, it's going to be muddy. There's water in the water puddles in all the holes and ruts. And you know, Jeremy, he seems to have done pretty good in the mud, but I think riders like John Dowd, possibly LaRocco, they really seem to shine in the mud. And Jeff Emig right there just getting another sip of water, make sure he's hydrated, who seemed to have things dialed in the first moto. The track's totally different now, so he's going to have to relearn it.
Let me ask you something. Maybe this could be a Honda riding tip as you look at Damon Bradshaw as he's getting set. When you've got all this mud in the starting gate, what do you do differently as a rider with your weight placement so you get some traction?
Well, you kind of do sort of what they did at Southwick when they started on the cement starting grade where you don't hook up as well. As soon as you get over the gate, you're going to get into more slimy stuff, and you don't lean forward as much. You kind of want to sit up a little straighter and put more weight on the rear wheel, hopefully hook up.
Well, let's see who gets the whole shot this time. We're just about set to drop the gate on the start of Moto number 2.
John Dowd looked like he missed a shift right there, so he's already well back in the pack.
Well, John Dowd had a great ride in Moto number 1, and look at that. Jeremy McGrath scoots out to the front. And look at Damon Bradshaw. As Jeremy went wide, Bradshaw gets the whole shot, and look how covered with mud these riders are headed into the first turn. And look at Damon. He is clean. This is definitely you don't want to follow right now, do you?
No, you don't. And
oh, look at that. Bradshaw gets squirrely, comes off the bike, and oh, it wasn't quite a face plant. I don't know what kind of a plant you would call that, but Bradshaw goes down and McGrath squirts out in front.
What a break for Jeremy right there, because Bradshaw would have been tough to get around, and I think Jeremy would have been covered just like those riders at mid-pack, but now clean vision, clean sailing, nobody in front of him, and he can just get everybody else muddy.
Well, there's Jeremy McGrath, the leader, and you can see he's already got some mud on him from the start from being behind Bradshaw, and behind him the number plate is all mudded up, but as he comes around 15, Kyle Lewis, hey, he's off to a pretty good start.
And I think I got a glimpse of Emig just off to the right of the screen there, so here's another look back at what happened to Damon. Everything was going good. He goes and tries to find a rut in his front wheel. It looked like it kind of got cross-rutted right there. It's a real tricky little section, and a really awkward place to fall, too. It's going to take him a while to get going, and since that's so early in the race, he'll probably be dead last when he restarts.
Man, you just have to feel sorry for Damon. I figured by this point of the season, with him coming back, that he would be the rider to beat, you know, or maybe one of the riders to beat, but he just has not had a lot of luck.
No, I figured as well. Another guy
rider goes down.
Looks like Larry Ward right there having his problems. Lost the front end, and it's really deceiving because there's places where it looks like you can get into a rut and hook up, but it's really slick underneath all that loam.
Oh, man, I tell you what, this is just a mess, isn't it? That couldn't have happened at a worse time. And look, Ward, we found out after the first moto he was having some ignition problems. That's why we saw him dropping back. And there you've got a good shot of Jeff Emig, and just look at all the mud. And coming around him, that was LaRocco, wasn't it, to pass him for position?
It looked like LaRocco just had a good line, squared it, kind of like what we saw in the riding tip. Moving up the inside, you can see he's trying to reach up and clear his vision while he's riding through this mess, and it looked like he might have lost that position back to Emig.
Yeah, Emig gets around LaRocco. It looks like not only do you have to deal with this slick stuff, oh man, look at him going into that
Well, I can't believe he made the turn. He almost took Emig with him.
Oh boy. But also this mud gets on you. It gets on your helmet, it gets on the handlebars. It just changes your whole complexion, doesn't it? Well, so to speak. Like
no
a mud
pun
bath.
intended. Yeah, you know what happens is you get really heavy. I mean, your pants get heavy and your pants start coming down. If you have a chest protector on, I've had the chest protector in my lap during the whole race. There was so much mud on it.
And Jeremy McGrath having a little bit of a problem there. Kyle Lewis is in second place. Jeff Emig is in third. He is, oh, look at that back wheel almost wash out. We're in the early stages of the mud bath of Moto number 2. Here's a look at the Honda field summary. Welcome back to Unadilla, and the best sight this season, Doug Henry back at the track after that horrifying crash at Budds Creek. Art Ekman has more on his recovery.
The fans here at Unadilla flocked to their favorite riders, standing in line for autographs, but there was no one who was received with more joy and adulation than Doug Henry, who made a surprise appearance.
Hey Doug, good to see you.
For those of us who witnessed the accident only 6 weeks prior, it was like a miracle to see him walking and smiling as if nothing had happened.
I've just never really been a quitter, and I'm not going to quit motocross just because of this, because you know, the doctors say that everything will heal fine, and it's just one of those little setbacks. The accident wasn't a big deal for me. You know, I fell, I hurt my back, my legs were moving, and everything was moving, so I felt fine. I just thought, you know, I hurt my butt or something. I didn't really know how bad it was until 2 days after, when they did an MRI, and then you could see the damage, and then I was a little nervous, but I mean, I've done a lot of crazy things in my life, and I've come really close to doing stuff, so it's just another one of those things where you just go, that was close.
So what they did now is put a cage here to replace it, and then there's a metal plate with 2 screws in the T12 and 2 screws in the L2. That fastens it all together and is keeping it stable. So it's only three vertebrae fused together.
The one hospital I was at, they wanted to just go ahead and stick a rod through my back and fuse 6 vertebrae, and she wasn't comfortable with that, and she knew that she could find someone better, and she worked really hard.
I had a lot of help from the industry. You know, people were calling Eric Kehoe, David Bailey. They were giving me calls and giving me leads to follow as far as second opinions.
I'm hoping to come back for the beginning of the season, but it's right now it's too early to tell. You know, because of the healing and the muscle work. I'm not going to come back till I'm 100%, and I really appreciate all my sponsors, especially Honda and Fox, for supporting me, you know, through this whole thing. And they say no matter what happens, they're behind me all the way. So if I don't make the beginning of the season, they'll take me in, you know, when I'm ready.
Well, it sure is good to see Doug back out there smiling. Apparently, there's not much you can do to Doug to keep him from smiling, and the crowd happy to see him. And I think he got probably one of the best operations, and probably be out there again. Surprised.
Very surprising. It's unbelievable. 6 weeks ago, and now Doug is back at the racetrack. Well, we're in the mud bath still, and look at Jeff Emig having problems negotiating that turn. Here comes LaRocco in right behind him. This is the 3rd place battle. Kyle Lewis is still holding down the 2nd spot. Of course, Jeremy is out front. Here's another look at this.
Well, I don't know how these guys are getting stopped coming down this hill. I mentioned already once how steep this downhill is. I thought it was a joke when they ran the banners down this hill. And you can see LaRocco coming in with the same problems, and they don't have much room to turn. If they go over that berm, they go down into a swamp. So they've got just a short little shelf there of level ground where they can make that turn and get back up the hill.
And, man, it's unbelievable that they would actually be racing side by side in this stuff. But look at LaRocco. He gets around Jeff Emig and takes over that 3rd spot. Mike LaRocco with a nice, smooth move there. I guess he picked the least slippery line to make that pass.
Well, he's definitely riding aggressive. In that section where he made the pass, it didn't even look like he was affected by the mud. It looked like he was going just as fast as he did in the first moto, and we're going to get another look at it. Emig come out of the corner right here. You can see that it's starting to get real choppy in the main line because everyone's riding that dry line, and it just beats it to death, so it gets even rougher. LaRocco right here on the inside doesn't really have that good of a line. He just real aggressive, and right here just kind of cuts across Emig, finds himself a little bit of a berm there, and Emig, I don't think there's really much he could do about that. He's going as fast as he can, trying to keep it on 2 wheels, and LaRocco rode right by.
Well, there's Kyle Lewis going just as fast as he can and almost gets off the seat right there, but he is holding down the 2nd spot, trying to chase down Jeremy McGrath. Well, let's check into the pits with Art Ekman.
Once again, the Kawasaki crew is asking LaRocco to come in and put fresh goggles on. The crew wants to keep 2nd place. Here comes Emig, and LaRocco holds down 2nd place just in front of Jeff Emig. The quickest goggle change I've ever seen in my life, Mike.
We messed it up. I don't think we got the strap on right.
Well, I can tell you, as he took off, the strap was down around the bottom of his helmet, and that would bother the heck out of me. And at least he didn't make any predictions, John.
Oh, you're terrible. Back in the battle for 5th place, James Dobb being followed by Mike Kudrowski. And yeah, that is Kudrowski on the inside, the number 7 number plate. And he gets around Dobb. It looks like Dobb said, I'm not going to contest this. I'm satisfied with where I am right now. It's still kind of early in this moto. Maybe he can make some time up. But Kudrowski has moved around into the 5th spot.
Well, Dobb was in that same line that LaRocco used to make his pass, but just couldn't quite go as fast as LaRocco did in that same line. Look, right here, Mike's looking good. He looks pretty aggressive. I mean, all these guys are going to get out of shape. You can see right there, just trying to stay in that rut takes, I can't even tell you the kind of balance it takes to try to stay in that rut, try to see, try to keep the bike in the right gear, keep your feet on the pegs. I mean, it's just impossible to ride in this stuff. And the fact these guys are going as fast as they are is pretty impressive.
Well, you really have to concentrate in these type of conditions or you're going to dump it. And that, along with how tough this racetrack is, can really tire you out. So we might see some guys fade toward the end. Here's a look at your Honda Field Summary. Back with more from Unadilla right after this. Time now for this week's Suzuki Flashback. And we go back to the rocky terrain of Unadilla, caused quite a problem for defending national champion Mike Kudrowski in 1994 as he was roosted by a rock, broke the finger out for most of the rest of the season.
And Jeremy McGrath's first season on the 250, riding a pretty strong race right here in 3rd place, but watch right there. He hits a hay bale coming up the uphill, bent the handlebars and remounted for a 37th place finish in Moto number 1.
Of course, Jeff Stanton on his farewell tour, giving the fans something to cheer about. He went head-to-head with Mike LaRocco, and they would swap the lead, LaRocco and Stanton, in a great battle.
Two of the toughest riders on the circuit, two of the fittest riders on the circuit doing battle on this rough racetrack.
But in the end, LaRocco would come away sweeping the checkered flag in both motos, and with Kudrowski out, virtually locked up the championship. Now back to Unadilla 1995. LaRocco trying to chase down Kyle Lewis to take over the 2nd spot. Remember, LaRocco finished 2nd in Moto number 1. McGrath is up in the lead right now. He finished 5th in Moto number 1. So LaRocco, if he can nail down that 2nd spot, he can come away with the overall victory.
Well, it seems inevitable. He's going so much faster than everybody, and right there,
look at that.
There's that same outside line. He came into it from the outside, but apparently able to go wherever he wants on the racetrack. And the key to riding fast in this kind of conditions is just momentum. You know, as soon as you slow down your momentum and try to build speed, you get a lot of wheel spin, and you can't get over the bumps. Your rhythm is out, and boy, he's just got so much momentum. Look at the distance he's already put on Lewis in just a matter of like 50 yards.
In 2nd place right now is LaRocco, and almost loses it right there. That's going to take a little momentum from you, among other things.
Actually, you know what? Normally it would, but not out of LaRocco. Oh, he stalls
look at that.
it.
He stalls. The bike has to look how quickly he gets it refired. Lewis trying to take advantage of it, but he just can't get the spot. Man, oh man, that's unbelievable, David.
This guy's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps on going. There's nothing you can do to slow him down. I mean, he just goes. He doesn't even care what line he's in as long as his speed is up. We're going to take another look. He just comes down the hill, probably gets on the brakes a little bit too hard, and he gets into that berm there. Doesn't quite get into it just right, and not sure why that stalled. Maybe he just didn't have his fingers on the clutch, but restarted it pretty quick and still held on to that spot. Lewis is probably wondering, geez, then the guy almost crashes and stalls the engine and I still can't pass him? What's wrong with me?
A little further back, you get a look at Jeff Emig, and look at the way that he's trying to chase down. I guess that is...
Looks like John Dowd.
Yeah, it is John Dowd, and Emig is the rider on the outside, I believe, and Emig looked like he was trying to get some of the mud off his visor, maybe a little bit off of his goggles, as the vision has to be very, very bad, very limited out there.
Well, as that mud piles up on the top of your helmet gets so heavy, especially up onto the visor, that it actually pushes your visor down in front of your face, then it pushes your goggles down. And speaking of goggles, Dowd doesn't have any. Remember, he missed a gear right out of the starting gate, took off. You know, he went into the first corner just about last, and what a good ride for him, especially without goggles.
Yeah, what do you do without goggles? I mean, you've got to be, that mud has to get into your eyes.
It does. He's not going to be too comfy after this race. I'm sure they're going to have to dig mud out of his eyes for a while, and you can see there is another classic example of just going fast in whatever line it takes, trying to maintain your momentum. And Dowd, a nice ride coming from so far back.
Well, Jeremy McGrath so far is having a pretty nice ride as he is out in front. In fact, he's got a really nice lead on everybody. And we talked about how the points differential between Emig and McGrath was narrowed to 9 points after the first moto. Now it's Jeremy's turn to make some of that back up.
Well, he's going to. I don't know if he's going to make it all back up, but he's definitely going to redeem himself with a second moto win and really put a little exclamation point on the day. Although, you know, I mean, he crashed in the first corner and came from dead last just about. So I think although Emig made up a few points, he's got to wonder what he's got to do to keep this guy down.
You got to wonder how Jeremy likes riding in the mud. I mean, he's this high-flying guy.
Well, he's still flying. He's just not flying high. There's not really any jumps at Unadilla anyway, but Jeremy has proven his versatility this year by doing well in all the conditions.
Right now, McGrath is your leader in Moto number 2, followed by LaRocco, Lewis, Dowd, and Jeff Emig as you get a look at the top 10 on our Honda Field Summary. The white flag is out here at Unadilla for the final lap of Mudbath 95. Here's the battle for third place, Kyle Lewis and John Dowd. And Dowd making up some ground here, trying to get that third spot.
Well, he's making up ground, but Kyle Lewis is having a good run here. This is one of his, got to be his best finish so far this year.
Well, you're exactly right. He's in third right now. 12th at Gainesville, 7th Hangtown, 9th Mount Morris, 9th Budds Creek, 6th Southwick, 8th at Redbud, 9th at Troy. So, yeah, I like the way I always have that information just to throw out there, don't you, David?
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
And you're supposed to offer the expert commentary. And we once again are on the final lap. Jeremy McGrath has got a really good lead right now. This is the battle for third place. LaRocco is in second. Kyle Lewis is in third, and he is being chased by Dowd.
And Dowd, I like the way this guy rides in the mud. I wonder why he can't ride that good the rest of the time. Look at how fast he goes around that corner right there. And he switches from the inside line back out to the outside line. Now switches back to the inside again. He just goes wherever he wants. Look at the momentum. And you see how he kind of sits a little straighter up. He sits a little further back on the seat than most guys, and he hooks up better in the slick stuff.
Well, now they're coming around some of the lapped riders, and that could come into play as Dowd tries to chase down this third spot. But last time you were telling me that riding in the mud is all mental attitude. Maybe Dowd has...
Possibly, yeah. I mean, you just have to like it. You know, I mean, if you don't like the mud and you're sitting on the starting line and it's raining and you're just going, man, I hate this, you know, chances are things aren't going to go your way. But if you just go out there and have a good time and get aggressive and, you know, just kind of wing it, which is exactly what it looks like Dowd is doing. And remember, Dowd's doing this without goggles.
That's right. Look at that. You can see Kyle Lewis has the goggles on. Dowd does it side by side momentarily, and it looks like Dowd just about washed out coming down that hill, but he has a battle on his hands as he can come up the hill. He's going to try the outside. Lewis neck and neck, and now Dowd gets around momentarily. They'll go into this turn. Lewis to the high side, Dowd to the low side, down the hill. Lewis still maintaining that third spot. Let's see if Dowd can get a bite coming out of here. No, it doesn't. Well, he does get a much better bite than Kyle Lewis. Is he going to keep that spot? Dowd moves around Lewis into the third spot, and that was a nice pass there.
Man, you can't say he didn't earn that one.
Oh, no kidding. Checkered flag is out, and Jeremy McGrath raises the left hand and says, yes. Came away with the victory, going to make up some ground in the points as now here's the battle for that third spot, and it will go to Dowd, followed by Kyle Lewis. Mike LaRocco has already come across in the second position. There you get a look at the top 5, McGrath, LaRocco, Dowd, Kyle Lewis. And as you look at the remainder of the top 10, Art Ekman is down in the pit area, and he has caught up with the winner, Jeremy McGrath.